What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Pigskin Preview, Week 3 of Playoff. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Miss Morales. How you doing, brother?
Great. Playoff time.
Yeah, how you liking it so far, brother?
I loved it. I was at Desert last week. You were at Marana, two of the better teams in
Shout
town.
out Colton Myers with that throw.
Yeah, another clutch performance. So and we still have what 7 teams still standing.
7 teams, and then I think it's 8 flag football teams now. I know the games are going on right now,
Right,
but
with flag. Yeah. So, well, I've been covering this for a while, and I don't remember this many Southern Arizona teams this deep in the playoffs. I don't have the time to research that, but
yeah.
it seems like there's so many teams left that
So
there's
we
a
could
good
say
chance of winning a
it's
championship.
probably one of the best years of Southern Arizona football.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then one team that's been absolutely amazing, and they just knocked down a juggernaut, is it Tanque Verde Hawks. Man, they just knocked down the number 1 seed. Sabi, hit that timer and let's get into the Tanque Verde. They just delivered one of the biggest shockers in all the playoffs. In your opinion, was this the biggest shocker of the playoffs so far?
And if you go back and look at the videos that we talked about Tanque Verde, I said that they've been seated too high at 9. They should have been seated higher. So they got that game against number 1 out of the way, and they won on the road. So to me, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't shocked by it because I thought that the way they've been playing, I think they've won 8 or 9 in a row.
Yeah.
And they got Cooper Payne midway through the season, so they've elevated their game to another level.
Yeah, and I'll be right there with you. That was probably for me, not saying a shocker, but I'm like, that's anytime you do that's outstanding when you knock down the biggest dog out there.
Yeah, on the road.
Yep. Someone you talked about was Cooper, and we'll get right into this, man. Let's talk about that first quarter he had where he had a strip sack, block punt, and returned a 98-yard interception for a touchdown.
Yeah, so actually he stripped it. He stripped the ball from a guy at the line, and they're about to score, so that's a 14-point swing. And that I think they got up by like 3 touchdowns before the Veritas Prep made a rally. But yeah, so he was huge in getting them to that level where they were able to hold on and win.
Yeah, and let's go right into this. Can they go? They're going into another hostile environment. Can they do another upset in going back-to-back weekends?
Yeah, they're actually playing in a neutral field at McClintock High School at Tempe, so it's not they don't have to go to St. John's. So they play at a neutral field, and anything can happen. Now they've already beaten the number 1 team on the road, so anything can happen.
Who are the guys that need to step up for TV to make sure they pull off this upset against St. John's?
Just there, the Rocco Haggard has to play his normal game. Cooper Payne has to continue to produce. Their running game is so potent; they just has to continue rolling. I think there's such a role, and they've got such a good chemistry going. And the coaching staff, Jeff Bull he keeps those guys loose. I just think they're on a mission. I think they're destined to win the championship.
We'll get into our next segment. The Miranda Tigers, they just delivered one of the craziest games of the year. Colton Myers came in clutch with 1:14 left, I think. At this point of the playoff, is he the clutchest quarterback left?
Well, look what he's done. I mean, and he's about to break Cameron Hackworth's record.
76 yards away, right?
Yeah, for the Southern Arizona, the career rushing or passing yardage. And he's basically played only 2 full varsity seasons, so that just amazes me that he's able to do that. But he's in the right offense for it. Mariana has that high octane passing offense, and it's because of him that they operate at a high level. And he makes that clutch play, and now that confidence is there that he can do anything. So I foresee them really going.
Yeah,
further.
If I wasn't perfect, then the next thing I want to get to, how dangerous is a team that just won 11 straight victories, especially coming off a game like they did last week?
Well, look at the talent, look at the coaching, look at the personnel. I mean, they have, as good as they are on offense, or that good on defense too, with some of the guys they have, like Alder, Utley, Webb, Roebucks in the secondary. So then you got Smith too, that's the linebacker. So as good as they are on offense, they're that potent on defense, and I think they can use that balance to go all the way.
Yeah. One person we have not talked about a lot is Mr. Sharps. He's been an outstanding player all playoffs. Where do you think his performance so far in the playoffs ranks all time?
He's a big play guy. I mean, everybody talks about Roebuck being the receiver, but if you look at the numbers, Jackson Sharp's had bigger plays. He averages, I think Sean averages like 12 yards a catch, and Sharp is at 18, and he has 15 touchdowns. Sharp does. Sean has about 7. So the big play guy is really Jackson Sharp, and the go-to guy is Roebuck.
Yeah. With a performance like Miranda had, do they need to improve their performance going into the next playoff game, or can they have a similar one and still be victorious?
I think having a game like that was perfect because it woke them up because they might have thought, oh, we beat Yuma Catholic by 30 points at Yuma, so and they have to play at our place, so we got this game. So I think that kind of like it was in a weird way, it was good for Philip Stewart to have that type of game. So now he can really get this team focused that they can't just win by showing up; they have to play their game. So I think that close game helped them.
Yeah, benefit them in the long run.
Yeah.
One team that was kind of close, and we'll get into this next segment right here, Desert View Jaguars. The game was kind of close until you said they got going around the second half.
Yeah.
Talk about the adjustments they made in that second half to be victorious.
Well, they stopped making mistakes. On special teams, they had a roughing the kicker on a 47-yard field goal attempt. It was wide left and didn't have a chance, but they roughed the kicker, so they got 15 yards first down. And I think that kind of little offset Desert View, and then 2 plays later, they scored a touchdown. And then then there was a shanked punt. I've never seen this where it was actually set -7 yards. The punt was -7
Oh, shoot.
because it didn't go very far, and the bounce it went like completely towards their end zone. So take those 2 plays out, Desert View runs away with it, but
Yeah.
that kept their opponent in the game.
What does it say about their ceiling, not having the best performance, but still beating a team like Mountain Point?
I think that really stood out, and Coach Bonilla's talked about that. That they can handle critical situations. He wants them to work on it more. So I think that for such a young team, you realize that Desert View's of their top like 12 tacklers, only one's a senior,
Yeah.
and like a majority of them are sophomores. They're a young team, and look at their 11-0.
Yeah.
So it's
They're
kind
going
of
to be
scary.
dominated for a while.
Kind of scary how good they are, and he knows it too. So he wants them to handle those critical situations better.
Yeah. And then for the last question right here for Desert View, they've gone over 40 years without a semifinals. Is this the year they finally get to that point?
I think so. Just because they're at home, they don't have to travel. They've gotten this far twice before. Like 4 years ago, they had to go to Desert Edge and went over there, and that they end up losing by a couple touchdowns. And then way back in '87, they were in the quarterfinals and they lost to Peoria. That game was in Tucson, but it was played at Rincon. It wasn't played at Jaguar Stadium. So this is the first time they're playing this game at home, which gives them an edge, I think, because the community aspect. If you've been in one of those games, it's a family. That team is a family to begin with because a lot of those players grew up together and played. And then you have the community aspect. Bonilla's talked about that too, that you can sense the community behind them.
Yeah.
So I think playing the game there at Desert View helps them a lot.
Definitely. One thing that we're gonna move on to next is the defending champion Micah Mountains, who's been there they've been there already, done their thing last year, trying to do it again. They just pitched a shutout, 35-0. Is the defense peaking at the right moment?
Oh, their defense has been good in this long. Well, I think they've won 7 or 8 in a row. They've only given up 3 touchdowns in that span. They've had like 5 or 6 shutouts. So that's as good or better than what they were doing last year, and they won a state championship for it. So their defense carried them, and their offense was good enough to win games. I think that's the same thing now. Again, with the way Jaden Christ, the way he played.
Is he looking like the most dangerous quarterback in 4A right now?
Well, the 7 of 8 for 152 yards and 3 touchdowns in a playoff game. So
Can't get much better than that.
in a playoff game, that was huge because he's had his little bit of struggles here and there in the regular season. But for him to come through like that, that's kind of like what Jaden Thorson did last year. He had kind of an off year until the last month, and he just really flourished. That's the reason why they won, really, because they were able to balance out with a great defense and an effective offense, and that's what Micah looks like they're doing now again. That's the same formula.
So in other words, we can both say that Micah Mountain's peaking at the right moment right now.
Oh yeah, and they play at Snowflake, which is a huge task. I was looking at the temperature Friday at Snowflake. It's going to be in the 30s, So that's not something Mike Brown's accustomed to.
Yeah.
So they have to play in cold weather. They have to travel. But, this is playoff time, so you have to overcome challenges. So I think they can do it. They have the right mentality for it.
Yeah. I'm sure Coach Campos is going to get him ready and keep saying, "Don't worry about 30 on degrees. Worry about putting 30 on the scoreboard."
Yeah.
One team that we've been kind of critical a lot is South Point Catholic, the Lancers. We were kind of on the edge to see if they were going to get a victory, but they were able to pull one out. Are they going to be able to keep that same momentum going against a number one seed of 6A?
I think so. I mean, Pinnacle's number one, but they're 7-4. They lost 4 times. They lost in the Open Division to Williamsfield, and now they're number one because of their power ratings. And a couple weeks ago, South Point took them to the limit over there. So, I mean, we've talked about it before. It's hard to beat a team twice, especially when they play them close. I know that happened at Tucson High and didn't go Tucson High's favor in their situation, but Tucson High played tough. What they scored like 30 points, and the defense weren't able to hold that game. But I think South Point, the way they played 2 weeks ago, and the way they're starting to really, some of their seniors are stepping up.
Yeah.
I think that's like Race Alvarez, Dion, the running back, Noah Bonhe as the senior nose tackle. I think they're stepping up and playing well at the right time too.
Yeah, one person we got to talk about Axel Martinez, who had
Axel
2 interceptions.
Martinez.
He's coming up clutch, and he's going to have a task going against that Pinnacle passing game. Is the defense going to be ready to knock that down?
Oh yeah, and then Nas Padrago too. He's a senior. They both have 3 interceptions each. They're in the secondary. Their linebacker that's had a great season. I can't get his name right now, but they've had some good individual performances. Brian Melton, some good performances overall. And I think the way they played the last couple of weeks, even though they split them, I think they won at King Creek convincingly, and then they took Pinnacle to the limit, and now they have to go on the road again. I don't think that matters to them. I think they'll be ready.
They've been on the road playing the best teams in the state, and I think they're going to be road warriors. And like I said, we've been critical about them, but this might be their time to shine right now.
This is it. If they get past this game, it's number one. It's just like Taga Verde. They beat number one on the road.
Now you're the number one dog.
It's open game then.
Yeah. A team similar to Micah Mountain, they're doing the same thing they did last year. And it's kind of like deja vu for Fish Ridge because they're playing Benjamin Franklin again. A team that knocked them down pretty good, but it's similar to last year that they got beat like this in the regular season, played them in the playoffs. Can they do another huge upset, or is Benjamin Franklin finally going to get the job done?
Well, I think it helps that Tanque Verde played them a couple weeks ago. They lost at home pretty handily. They only had Pushbridge only had 30-some yards rushing, and they gave up, which is uncommon because their Pushbridge defense is so good. They gave up about 150, 160 on the ground. Race Pineo, their quarterback, had a great game last week. I mean, I think he was 28 of 32 for 300-plus yards with 3 touchdowns. I think if the running game does a lot better than what they did last time, then that can help him. Plus, you give Jeff Drescher, the defense coordinator at Push Ridge, that film from a couple weeks ago where you can point out things to what they have to do better. I think that's going to be huge. I would expect Push Ridge to have their best game of the year when they play up there.
Ooh, so you're expecting another elite performance from their QB and defense and offense.
I like their defense, and they had an off game a couple weeks ago. The Benjamin Franklin has they have 2 brothers that are really good. They're running backs, and they both combined for 150 yards against Push Ridge. I don't see that happening. Again, giving Jeff Drescher, the defense coordinator, that film to show his guys and what to key on, I think that they'll do a lot better.
Will we more improve their offense or defense going into this after the game's over?
Well, they have to have both because, again, the rushing game only had 30-some yards. That's not going to cut it. That's going to put too much pressure on Pineo. And then the defense has to do a lot better of shutting down the running game. Yeah. So I don't know. The defense would have to do a lot better because you win with defense. It puts your offense in position to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Other teams that have been winning a lot. We got to talk about flag football. We haven't done the best job of bringing that up. I really want to just give you the floor right now and tell us who have been the top women, top girls in flag football, and some of the teams that we need to watch out for. I know as we're watching this, they're getting ready to play right now.
Yep.
Give us kind of a list so that way we can give them their flowers on the amazing seasons they've had.
Well, Malaysia Roebuck, she'll be a Player of the Year candidate. The receiver out of Marana, she's part of the Roebuck family.
Yeah, we're officially entering like a legacy with that family in football and flag
Oh
football.
yeah, that's a family we'll be talking about like 30, 40 years ago. Remember that Roebuck family? How good they were.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Bates family, and
Forgay family too.
Forgay. So it's she was a finalist for the Ed Doherty Award last year because they had the first time for a flag. I think she's right up there, especially if they go all the way. When we're taping, where they're going to be playing Hamilton at home, if they get past that, they have a good shot. They have to. It's the championship game is up in Phoenix, but and then their Garcia, their quarterback. Even though she's a freshman, she's a veteran because she's been through the Tucson turf grind for like the last 10 years since she was a little girl. So and then you have like Roxy Singer, who's that Singer family is athletic. I think the way Roxy Singer plays, I saw them play a couple weeks ago at Sunnyside. The way she plays, she could play tackle football. The way how athletic and tough she is. Miranda just has some great athletes, some good young athletes too. So that they're going to be around for a while. South Point, this is their first year. I think getting this far is like icing on the cake for them. Everything's just gravy now because for the first year make the semifinals. So I think that's and we not a surprise to anybody because of what how South Point is.
Yep. And
they have a lot of talent there. Buena has made it this far. They have a really good player who's only a sophomore, Daytona Villalobos or something like that. I don't know. I probably butchered her name, but she's one of the top players in the state. So I think that's you have to have players like that to get you far in flag football, and all three of the teams have it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Which team, if you had to pick a team right now, who's going to play on Saturday?
Marana. Yeah.
Marana? Oh, man, we'll be able to replay it. So, Mr. Morales is calling it.
Marana's at home, and the other two are on the road. So, South Point's up at Prescott, and Buena's on the road in their 5A. So, I forgot if they play Camelback or something like that. So, it's going to be tough for those teams that play on the road. But Marana has been knocking on the door their first 2 years, too. I mean, they've been right there, and so I think that this year they can knock that door down.
Yeah, this might be the year for them. Might be the year for both teams right now.
And then they could go on a run because Garcia is only a freshman.
Ooh, yeah. Dangerous times for Marana Tigers. Now we're going to talk about some more dangerous teams. We've seen each team in the first round and second round of the playoffs. Someone that just started last week. Who's the most dangerous team right now headed into their matchup this week?
I think Tanca Verde is.
Ooh, got the two-way strength right there, guys.
If you're an opponent, would you want to play Tanca Verde? Though they've won 9 in a row, they beat the number 1 team on the road convincingly. I know they won 28-23, but they give us some late scores. I think right now they're probably in a Southern Arizona has a lot of teams that are on hot streaks. Marana's won 10 in a row.
Yeah, 10 in a row.
Desert Views hasn't lost. They've won 12 in a row dating to last year.
Dang. Yeah, I didn't even think about we could put it all the way back to that way, too.
Yeah, because they beat Sunnyside in the season ender last year. And then Micah Mountains won 8 in a row. A lot of hot teams that, that are doing so well that I don't know. It's hard to pick the hottest team because they're all doing so.
Hey, I like your pick with TV. Anytime you go against the number 1 dog and you knock him out, that's a scary person now. That's a scary team going into it now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're following the scores, I was following the scores. It was 17-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah,
early in the second quarter. That shows that they were ready to play. They were ready. Jeff Bullnow had them ready.
Yeah, that number 1 seed didn't mean much to them.
And they're in the semifinals for the first time in program history.
No,
they've been around for 2 decades. So,
like you said at the beginning of the show, anytime you have something like that, it shows how great Southern Arizona football is getting.
Yeah. So, Desert View, if they win, they'll be in the semifinals for the first time. Marana will be in the semifinals for the first time in since the 60s, I think. Yeah. I think I think this is like a renaissance, like a reawakening of Southern Arizona football is happening this year.
Yeah. Hey, Coach Nugent, we finally might get that 5A like you said.
Yeah, that, and remember he said that's when Southern Arizona's really arrived.
Yep.
If the 5A and 6A, and nobody's talking about South Point. What happens if South Point
Yeah,
upsets
and
Pinnacle? They're in the semifinals and they just beat the number 1 team on the road.
well, the crazy thing we haven't talked about, we
So
could do a sweep from 2A to 6A still.
yeah, I mean they're still alive, and that's
Mhm.
I don't think that's ever happened where they've been alive this every classification that we've had somebody they're this late.
Hey,
Yeah.
Southern Arizona football has arrived. We talk about the great teams. Let's talk about who's the most dangerous guy going into the next round of the playoffs. Who's been the most dominant player of the playoffs so far?
Wow, that's
And I think we both might know who we're talking about.
Well, we got. I mean, you can pick from Colton Meyer. You can pick from Jaylee Abraham. You can pick from Cooper Payne.
Got to throw in Sharps in there too, man.
What's that? Sharp,
Sharp,
Jackson Sharp.
Three,
You can pick
two touchdowns
Broden
last
Schmidt
week.
from Micah Mountain. You can pick him. Riley Carson's had some big games from Mount. I think for Micah Mountain to win, he's going to have a big game. He's going to have a big play receiving. He's going to maybe have to have a big return. They're going to have make big plays against Snowflake. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of guys who can fill that role. But, I mean, the most experienced guy is Colton Meyer because his experience playing in the playoffs last year. This year, he's a big talent with college.
Yeah, anytime you're able to do what he did when everything's on the line, the whole season's on the line, and still come with a coach like that, you're a dangerous dude walking into. And I know he's having a lot of schools try to talk to him to get recruited. He just he literally left the game to go on a visit, so that's a dangerous offense right now.
Yeah, and my player of the year though is Jaylee Abraham, because Desiree would not be where they're at right now. They might even have a losing record without him. Because not only is he a talent on the field, he's kind of like the glue. The players around him, just like they stick to him like he's like he's a leader, which he is. So I think without him, things would unravel, and Bonias is doing a heck of a job. Their assistant coaches, they have some really good assistant coaches that really get on the players, and the players respect them. So, but for me, the player of the year is Jaylee Abraham. How valuable he is to that team.
Awesome. Who's more the Cinderella story right now, TV or Desert View?
Wow, they're both dominant. Desert View hasn't lost a game yet. Nobody thought Desert would be undefeated, so I'll go with Desert View because nobody thought they'd be undefeated right now.
Yeah. And then going on there, which game is one to watch? Which one's going to be the hyped up game of the week? Have another Marana versus Yuma Catholic.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot of good ones because you're getting this late in the quarterfinals and semifinal round. It's hard to pick because you can look at any one of them. Cactus View. What's
Cactus Shadow.
Canyon View. Canyon View with Desert View. I'm really looking forward to going to that game because this is the moment of truth, right, for Desert View.
Yeah.
This is where they enter the next realm, so to speak. So I think to me, that's the most enticing matchup because Desert View is undefeated. They're the talk of the town because of that. So let's see how they do in the postseason.
Awesome. And then the part of the show we all love. Who's going to be the player of the week?
Yeah, I got Ryan Vasaville-Bassa.
Ryan for that one?
He had 2 quick touchdowns in the first half, which are huge. The touchdown passes happened right after they've had those special teams blunders. So they came back, rebounded with a couple of touchdown passes, one to Jaylee Abraham of 49 yards.
Oh, shoot.
So this week, I'm gonna stick to my Riley Carson. I'm gonna go think out of the box and Riley Carson and Micah Mountain.
Right. All right. Awesome.
I think he's gonna have a big game, and it's gonna be they need that against Snowflake.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Punisher, Jeffrey Smith. He didn't have the greatest game last week, but I think he's really gonna turn around this week.
Yeah. Well, all those guys are great players, and it's good that we can talk about them this late in the season.
All right, Mr. Morales. Before we go, final thoughts.
Just that, hopefully that people realize that the way Southern Arizona football has been doing, not only this year, but the last couple years, because we won 4 state championships overall, right? That this is like, we don't have to take a back seat to Phoenix all the time. The best players can stay here. They don't have to go up to Phoenix. Jaylee Abraham almost went to Peoria Centennial. Thank God he stayed in town, and he went to Desiree where his dad graduated from. So the talent in Tucson, you do not have to go to Phoenix to play. You can stay here, flourish, get noticed more. Actually, you're going to get more press clippings if you come here, stay here, because Phoenix has so many schools, so many players. You're like you're lost in that big pond up there.
Yeah.
Here you can stick out and be recognized for your talent. So if families are thinking about, oh, we're going to go to Phoenix because that's where the talent is, you don't have to do that.
Awesome. Hey, stay in Tucson, guys. Southern Arizona is coming up. We got some great games going on tonight. We will be at the Desert View game on Friday. We will be there, me and Sabian. Good luck to everyone playing. As always, make sure you follow All Sports Tucson on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you got YouTube as well. I think you have it.
Yes, yeah.
And
but not
YouTube-
as much, as you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yes, we will have our Twitter up on Thursday. That is our announcement, which will be the day this comes out. Follow us on all those platforms. Keep loving it. Hey, we're at 2.4 million. Thank you guys for all the love and support, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.